Okay.
Remember, if I get cut off, please let me back in. You know, my connection is not good.
Mm-hmm. We'll keep an eye out for you.
Okay, thank you. All I have to do is reset and get back in. So I have to exit to get back on the link.
Let's see. Where's my... Do we have any guests here yet?
I don't see any.
Okay. Let's start.
Rio.
Rio, right. Hi, Rio.
Okay, let's just get, I guess we'll get started. So I want to formally call this meeting to order, the Oceano Advisory Council meeting for November 21st. And first thing on our agenda, of course, is the roll call. So we'll do the roll call. Aline Villa, Chair, myself, present. Council Member and Vice Chair Cynthia Repolgo.
Here.
Secretary at Large, also. Charles Barney, Council Member Treasurer.
Here.
Council Member Lucia Castanovio.
Here.
Council Member Mary Lucy.
Here.
Council Member April Dury. April Dury.
Your audio is not working, April.
I asked if you guys could hear me.
Now it is.
Now it is.
Okay, well,
Okay.
It's very low.
I know you were there, but that was okay.
got it.
So it seems like we're all here. Next, I want to do the. I keep on forgetting to add this to the agenda permanently. I would like to do the flag salute.
Mm-hmm.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic that stands one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Next on our agenda, we have public comment for items not on the agenda. Do we have anyone with public comment for items not on the agenda? Doesn't look like we do, so we'll go to the next item, guest reports. First guest report we have is county planning. Do we have anyone from county planning?
Mr. Choi's here.
Is he?
I am here.
Okay.
I see young Choi on the line.
Troy?
Choi.
Yes. From county planning? Yes.
I'm here today.
Now I see you.
Yeah.
I just saw your name.
Woohoo! Nice backdrop.
Thank you. I wish I was here.
You're in Hawaii. Do you have a report for us?
I have an unofficial, official brief report for you guys. On the board meeting on Tuesday, our Board of Supervisors has directed our department to look into a streamlined permitting to help our local businesses to winterize for the COVID-19, which is, to add additional outdoor seatings or to add those heaters. So we're actively working on those. If you know of any business that requires winterization and need any assistance, we don't have an official a contact person for now, but I will be the lead person for our Oceano area. So please send them my contact information, and as soon as I get more information, I will work with them so that they have the right contact to get started with winterization for COVID-19.
Aileen, when you have a chance, my hand is up.
Okay. And I apologize. I am on a phone, so I can't see everyone at the same time. So if you speak up, I'm not ignoring you if you raise your hand. I don't have a raise hand thing on my phone, but yes, go ahead, Mary Lucy.
Okay, Young, so you're going to be the winterization coordinator and the COVID's coordinator?
No, the winterization is only limited for businesses who needs additional permitting to either add additional seating for their outdoor patio or for heating elements for those. We didn't want them to wait for our regular permitting timing because it's already basically winter, and we like to streamline their permitting so that they could be open for business.
Okay, so now go back to the COVIDs for me for a minute.
Yeah, so we don't have the contact person for that streamlining permitting yet. But if you know of any businesses in Oceano that needs that kind of assistant, I will be the contact person for now for the Oceano area.
Okay, so let's just back up for a second. And so we have a lot of Airbnbs and under 30-day rentals in this area. And what's happening across the country, right, is one, counties, cities, states, any government is getting COVID certified monitors. Okay, so if I was to go to, say, New York, right, I would want to stay in a COVID certified air. Okay, that's where they go in and they sterilize anything under a 30-day rental. Okay, I know that in Hollywood, all the sets that are filming right now, all have brought on COVID compliance staff. And that's their job, is to minimize the spread of this virus. And so I don't know if this is, and I'm hesitant because I don't know if it falls into your hands or what, but since we have such a high number of Airbnbs in this area, that puts the community at a higher risk because our viral load goes up in the geographic area. So I see that one of our reports is approval of an air, right? But there's no mention of disease prevention, which we're here to do the best for Oceano and the businesses of Oceano, right? And I think it would be extremely wise to certify all these airs to be, after each person leaves, because they're short-term rentals, that they're sterilized for COVID. And they do it in New York, they do it in Atlanta, they do it in Philly. I mean, it's an ongoing thing, but it can't be kicked to the wayside here because we're a destination. And so the buck kind of stops with us. So everything that people are exposed to, they bring it to us. You know, and so I would strongly encourage this committee, since this committee really has looked at short-term rentals, to for selfish reasons really push this sterilization that occurs after each stay.
So I'd like to speak to this. Who else would like to speak to this since Celine can't see? Oh, okay, so I'm the only other one at this point. Do you want to wait, Mr. Young, do you want to wait till we deal with this specific vacation rental proposal? To talk more about this in depth, because there are other things about vacation rentals as well besides just the COVID. Or would you like to talk more about the COVID right now?
So the update that I was mentioning is really kind of geared towards the restaurants that needs additional outdoor space seating so that they could have additional heating or seating for that. However, Mary Lucy, you do bring up a good point. However, for the planning department, that's not something that we really regularly deal with. We really deal with the land use regulation if that site can't have a vacation rental or now. However, I think your concern is very valid. And if you like to, I could forward your concern to our public health office as well as our business license office and see what they could do about that issue.
Because it would be a policy issue. And so it would take board action to implement it countywide. I mean, otherwise, you know, we can still act like we're fighting a virus, but we're really not fighting anything because we're, you know, it's constantly chasing it, you know, because people won't, you know, there's a lot of things that have to be put in place. So it's bigger than just one rental.
Mm-hmm.
It's about saving a community.
Well, and it applies equally to any place that has this issue with vacation rentals, high rates of transitory, you know, residents.
No, our viral load is very, very high at this point in this community because of the transient, of the tourists that come into the area, you know. So I worked in public health for 20 years, so really trust me, I get this.
Well, I think it would be good if we knew what provisions the county has in place right now for inspecting or certifying any hotels, motels, and applying that to the transient, to the
As
stuff.
3 o'clock, as of 3 o'clock, they had nothing. There have been a few that have taken on working with hazmat companies, but they're doing it more in the bigger hotels versus, and there's only 1 to 3, and that, I think that's being generous in the county, you know. So, and Airbnb does have a program,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so that's just my humble opinion.
Mr. Choi, how
Mhm.
fast do you get those permits? How fast can a restaurant get those permits?
It really depends. I mean, these will not really trigger a use permit unless it's that big. We're really dealing with additional gas lines or anything additional electrical to add for lighting or additional seating for there. Our usual permitting time right now is at minimum 30 days. If it's like a simple, like little retrofit as in adding additional little gas heaters and adding additional outdoor seating, we expect to have the review done within 2 to 4 days. Again, these are just really small addition that these businesses are doing, and we like to only kind of limit it to these businesses that is kind of hurt by these COVID-19 measures. Anything that requires discretionary permit or land use will still come to your board and will still require discretionary permitting and the hearing process.
Thank you. Anyone else have any more questions?
I don't know if this falls under you, Young, or not, but is there going to be any enforcement for the curfew?
You know, I'm not quite sure on that. I believe that would probably be up to sheriff's office.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I just heard today too, so.
moving along here. Is there any more comments you would like to state, Mr. Choi?
That is the end of my update for you today.
Okay, so you are going to stay to give us the project summary for Gutierrez?
Of course.
Okay, thank you. Next on, moving along here, next we have county code enforcement. Do we have anyone from code enforcement?
There is no one here from code enforcement, the sheriff, or the CHP.
Okay, so then we can go to number 4, presentations. I don't think we have anyone to do any presentation. Item 5, review and approval of minutes. I'm sure most of you have had time, and if not, can you take a couple of seconds and review and then have someone motion to approve the minutes?
I move that we approve the minutes as circulated and
First,
slightly revised.
I'd like to ask, were there any actions taken after I left the meeting? Nobody added anything.
Oh, did I remember?
No?
After,
No actions.
I second the motion.
okay. Was first and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes passed.
I'm sorry,
Next
who
we
was
have-
the second on that? I missed.
Lucia,
Okay.
next on our agenda, we have business items. So we got new business membership letter of interest from Maria Cortez. Hopefully, most of you had time to review his short but very
Excuse me.
concise, short, concise letter.
So if I may, our bylaws say that we can only have 4 at-large members at any one time, and there currently are 4. So I am announcing that I am resigning from the council. So there is 1 seat open, and I will stay in the meeting for the duration to run the Zoom and take the minutes.
Hate to see you go, Cynthia. We hope to survive without you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You are really.
Cynthia? Just overworked?
Yeah, I don't feel that I have the bandwidth to give the council the time that it deserves.
Well, you've made great contributions and we're really going to miss you being here. You'll probably show up occasionally.
Probably.
We have something really hot on the agenda.
Mhm. Thank you.
I'm sure she will.
Mhm.
So can we move on to the letter now?
I read the letter.
Anyone else? Does anyone want to say anything?
Well, Rio, I mean, you expressed yourself really well in the letter, but anything else you want to say?
I just really appreciate your consideration, and I look forward to working with you guys if I get to be on the board. So.
Well, I've known Rio, what, like 10, 15 years. So, I think he would be a great addition.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, Mary. I haven't known him for that long, but I think Rio would be really an excellent addition and bring his perspective to the mix and add a lot to it as a result. And Rio, your connections in the community are really important, and that'll be good for all of us.
Thank you.
Well, I've heard nothing but good things about Rio, and I like him. So from the little that I do know, I like. So.
Oh, I like you guys too.
Maybe
Well,
we'll get that farmer's market started eventually.
And I want to mention that, I mean, what did you ran for OCSD office. You got a lot of votes from people.
Yes.
You went out and circulated your door hangers. You did a great job presenting yourself in the forum. And so, I think this is a great place for you to land. I mean, it might even be better because we really, we report to the Board of Supervisors, kind of get tired of OCSD saying like, oh, well, that's the county's business and we can't do anything about it. Well, we're the county
Right.
reps, so.
I agree. I think this is really where the real work could happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot of work, like Cynthia says. It's just so much work. But I'm very happy to have you, Ria, very happy.
Thank you.
And Rio's more Oceano, more of an Oceanian than I am. 4th generation.
Yeah.
Well, they look like pretty scruffy and, you know, covered in dust.
Your bloodline here goes way back.
Right?
Hey, you were here when there were legal-sized Pismo clams.
Yeah, my grandparents, you know, I grew up eating fried
Clam
clam.
fries, yeah.
Oh yeah, they were good.
Oh yeah.
One of these days we'll get some more clams back.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Too much.
So should we do a vote to formally accept Rio into the council?
Yeah. Mary, you want to do the honor of nominating Rio?
Sure, I'd like to nominate Rio Cortez for OAC.
I
second.
second.
Looks like it was a tie between Cynthia and I.
Fine, good.
All
Go
those in
ahead.
favor?
Go ahead,
Aye.
Delina.
All those in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Congratulations, Rio.
Okay.
Welcome to more unpaid work.
You're now a voting member.
And I love the fact that you're going to bring, I love the fact, Rio, that you're going to bring a business perspective and maybe a farmer's market.
Yes, that'd be wonderful.
Love that. Okay, moving on along here to old business. Next on our agenda, we have the Gutierrez project. And so again, we'll have County Planning, Mr. Choi, give us a update.
Sure, nothing much has been updated since our last conversation. However, we did relay some parking issue to the applicant, and they are more than welcome to, they're open to utilizing their unutilized space as an overflow parking lot.
Nice.
That's wonderful.
And then only one thing that the planning is waiting on before we take this item to hearing is a will serve letter from the OCSD. So that's an ordinance requirement. So until we get the letter, we won't be moving forward with that. However, if the council is ready to make a recommendation, I'm more than happy to take that to the project planner.
Have you found out what business they're going to have? I'm curious. I'm still curious.
Not yet. They themselves don't know it yet either. So that's something that we've been pressing them, and they said we don't know.
Okay. Well, we welcome any business. We sure need business here in Oceano. Any comments for any more further comments from Mr. Choi?
No.
Okay. Mr. Choi, welcome to stay to discuss the vacation rentals if your schedule permits it.
I would like to. We did receive a few more vacation rental application. So I think it'd be helpful if I may, listen to some of your discussion today.
Okay.
Oh, I have one thing for Mr. Choi. I would like to second what Mary Lucy had mentioned about health concerns related to COVID and the vacation rental. Can you somehow forward that? Get us in contact with county health department relating to this issue?
Definitely. I'll definitely see if using our county contact, see if I could get someone to let us know if there are existing regulations for those, and if not, if they have any updates on those. And I'll also forward the concern to our business license office too, because after the land use approval, the business license office and the tax collectors are the one that keeps up with the tax payment, and as well as to keeping all the business intact. So I'll definitely contact both of those. And I will copy this letter to our code enforcement. I'm not sure what they have to do in this, but I think it'd be helpful to get them looped in about this concern with the COVID-19.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like this is a really missing link in the armor, you know.
I think it was a good concern, and I think it's a very valid concern for both community and the visitors.
Thank you.
And Yan, there's a certification program. So people, contract with hazmat companies to handle this, process. And I know that a lot of people will not stay, people who care, I can't say everybody cares, but, there's a certification program. And so you can't just go on people's word is what I'm trying to say. That there are protocols in place, there's certification programs, and I think that it would really be of great benefit, and it would send a strong message to the governor that we're doing something.
Yeah,
Definitely add those as well.
Mhm.
And do you go through Penny Bornstein's office?
Well, it is her office in general, but I will try to contact someone in her staff. I know Penny's very busy with all the other stuff, so I'll definitely contact you of her staff to see what we have in place. If not, any recommendation or best management practices for these businesses.
Thank you very much, because I was going to suggest you get somebody with boots on the ground.
Right. I think that, this is a great vision to put out there, and an expectation and hope that there will be, clear guidelines for cleanliness and all of that. I think that realistically, hiring an army of inspectors to cover every bed and breakfast and VRBO in the county when they're changing over, that is not going to happen. But any incremental movement and sensitivity that can happen, I know that this is brought up, in terms of the ODSVRA being opened up, and we're in purple now. And last time it was in purple is when it got shut down. So there's concern across all kinds of different modalities in our county. But I welcome the focus on it, definitely.
Okay, any more comments?
And Mr. Young, feel free to contact me, because I do have a lot of resources in this area across the country.
Well, we'll see. We haven't specifically talked about the application for the vacation rental. So we're going to move on to that now, or I'm not sure.
Maybe we should, out of courtesy, I think maybe we should, so that he can leave as soon as we're done.
Before that, do we have any recommendation for the Gutierrez project?
So I would move that we recommend approval of the project based on our discussion and their willingness to address Ms. Lucy and the rest of the other members' concerns about parking, which I think, handles that major thing. I think last time, my recollection is we all thought it was going to be a nice addition to the community, and welcome it.
Good.
Just looking at the history of code enforcement on that property, I mean, it's always getting busted for illegal trailer, storage or crap or whatever, so that's great. It's really good.
So is that a motion, Charles?
Yes, it's a motion.
Anyone second? I'll second. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, looks like it passed unanimously. All righty, so then we'll go on to speak about vacation rentals out of courtesy for Mr. Choi. We'll bring up the vacation rentals before the parking letter.
Excuse me, my question is, what's the regulation for making a bed and breakfast? For example, I read that the applicant lives in Sacramento, but wants this house to be his second home, and he wants to do B&B while he's not there. So I thought that bed and breakfast are only for people who reside all year long in one place and have an extra room that they want to put on for bed and breakfast. So so can you just address my comment?
Of course. So there's a little bit difference of a bed and breakfast, which at our county, we kind of consider those a homestay, which is a rental of portion of the home. And a residential vacation rental is a rental of an entire home, including the living room, kitchen, and all the bedrooms on that property. You are correct that one of our provision for the residential vacation rental is that either the owner lives close by or they need to hire a contact that could respond to any concerns within about 20 minutes. So most times they hire an agent that does vacation rental, and those are our kind of first go if there's any problem with those vacation rentals. If you want additional permitting requirement, I could kind of go on to those details as well.
Okay, so one thing is a vacation rental, one thing is a bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
Sorry,
What is he proposing?
He is proposing a vacation rental, which is
Right.
the rental of entire property.
Right. That's what I thought.
Yes. Now, does the county have a cap for how many vacation rentals it
We
can
do
have?
not have any cap, either in small areas or the county.
Now, I know this is a hot issue. We've been talking about this earlier, and I know Charles is passionate about this, that we need to put a cap.
Right. So that's, I'd like to say something about that. There are communities that have caps. Morro Bay has just put a cap. And there are, Cambria, Avila have special regulations on vacation rentals that we don't have. Although the county has regulations of vacation rentals that are embraced in coastal zone land use ordinance. And one of the specific stipulations is that there can't be a residential vacation rental within 50 feet of another one. And so we're totally out of compliance when it comes to that, when you're looking over on the, over on the Strand. And I don't think it's ever been enforced here, really. And it's, we have, I think the last stats I had, they're a couple, 3 years old, but there were 100 vacation rentals. So it's really, it is having huge impacts on our community. It's something that we haven't really dealt with. And it's something that, I think absolutely we need to. Now, this proposal before us is kind of a, we can see the gentleman put this together. I mean, he's being serious. He has the regulations. By the way, I did circulate over, different times to all the members of our group. This is the little, well, you can't really see, but this is kind of the quick cheat sheet of, what's a vacation rental that the county puts out. It's planning document 2030, and this is from 2018. And then there's a whole bunch of, in the county, zoning and planning, section 23.08.165, residential vacation rentals. There's like, 4 pages, single space of, well, 3 1/3 that lay out some of this stuff. So there's some, so welcome to the world of vacation rentals in Oceano, Mr. Choi. It's, like any place, it's kind of a mess. And I don't have any particular issue about vacation rentals over in the on the west side and south side of Pacific Coast Highway. And I just learned from people that were doing electioneering that there's a lot of vacation rentals in like Juna Vista mobile home parks. And I had no idea there was that much of it going on. But people are like basically older folk dies. The kids don't want it. They're buying those things up and so it's an important issue. And
Yes, and I wonder, excuse me, I wonder why hasn't the regulation been enforced?
mm-hmm.
The 50 feet from another, why isn't enforced?
So I'd like to, if I may, talk to you about the 50 feet next to each other. I believe, so in our coastal zone, as you know, Oceano has both coastal and inland area. So for all coastal area, a minor use permit, a coastal development permit is required. So for every coastal vacation rental, we come to you for your recommendation for those. In areas like Cayucos, Cambria, and Avila, if they meet that distance requirement, if there's no vacation rental within either 50 feet or in Cayucos, in Cambria, I believe it's 150 foot, then they don't need a minor use permit. They just go through a ministerial process over the counter. And in those cases, if there is a vacation rental, then they need to go through a minor use permit to modify that vacation rental rule. In communities of Cayucos, at least for the time being I've been here, we've had a lot of those kind of applications to waive those distance requirement. And we've also taken to our board of supervisors for a lot of appeals. Those has all been denied in the last 2 years at least. Avila Beach is also the same, that their advice council is very, they do not like vacation rentals within, I believe they have 50 feet for Avila Beach. So for community like Oceano, is similar as community like Los Osos. Los Osos also does not have a distance requirement. So all the vacation rental application in Los Osos and Oceano must have a minor use permit. I just working kind of through a lot of the Los Osos vacation rentals. Their advisory council has really clamped down on the vacation rentals there. And they themselves had, as an advisory, created kind of a guideline or kind of like a check mark within the advisory to either recommend or not recommend. I don't have those details, but I do know that the LOCAC, Los Osos Community Advisory Council, has that kind of guideline on their website.
Okay.
In terms on the inland side, we don't necessarily have a vacation rental ordinance. So if it's an inland portion of Oceano, it just requires a zoning clearance. And only inland area kind of restriction we have is the Adelaida region, which is in Paso Robles.
Mm-hmm. So
I don't know if that added more confusion or.
No, thank you. So there is a 50-foot requirement in unincorporated areas like Oceano in the coastal zone.
Not that I'm aware of. Everywhere in the coastal zone in Oceano requires a discretionary permit, a minor use permit.
Right. But if it's within 50 feet in these other communities, they deny it, and the supervisors have been backing them up, correct?
Yes, so for, I believe, in Avila Beach, we had an application. The planning department denied the request for the vacation rental per the AVAC, Avila Valley Advisory Council's recommendation. Their recommendation was to deny. So planning department hearing officer denied that application.
Right.
That wasn't appealed. However, the other applications in Cayucos, at least 3 or 4 of them, similar thing happened. The Cayucos Advisory Council recommended denial for those applications. Planning department took the recommendation and denied those applications. It was then later appealed to Board of Supervisors, and the Board of Supervisors also denied the appeal, upheld the planning department's hearing. So overall denied the vacation rental permit there. Similar things are happening in Cambria too. However, we haven't seen a lot of applications in Cambria since the word has kind of gone out of the past actions from the both planning department hearing and our board of supervisors.
And so if we wanted to have regulations like that for Oceano, the process would look something like we put our heads together and come up with a recommendation that we want to make to the supervisors, starting with our supervisor, and we report really to all the supervisors, asking them to create an ordinance, and maybe we could, refer to one that we like that's in operation, and ask them to make that part of the coastal plan.
Yeah, that's one thing, which is to amend our ordinance. That does take our board of supervisors kind of action in order for planning department to go with that. What your council can do is to make recommendations, just like all the other project, whether your council likes them or not, and planning department hearing officer and the board of supervisor will take your recommendation and look at the project case by case.
Yeah, okay.
Anybody else have any more questions or comments?
I had a comment, if you
Go
guys.
ahead.
Okay. So as Charles mentioned, when you're canvassing and a majority of the houses are empty because people don't actually live in this town, then that really cuts into the fabric and structure of our community and us having our own voice here. So if 18% of our vote never happened because these people don't even live here, that's 18% that affects our community by not being involved in our community, and we're allowing that. And that's really detrimental that I've learned from here. These people come in and they rent an Airbnb, but they don't understand that the voice of the water rate increase was in the owner's hands, and no one cares. The owner doesn't care because the renter's paying for it. The renter doesn't care because they have no equity, no investment in our community whatsoever. And we're all left to pay those bills. So we need a better quality of life in Oceano to balance out the benefit that people who own 30 properties in our community and rent out 18 of them aren't the ones that are passing on the cost that you and I, the people who live and work and are invested here, have to pay for. So there's a larger issue besides just transients are in town, and I'm fully with Mary on the whole COVID and health issue, but our quality of life and our fabric of being community members is at a disadvantage when people who are not part of our community live here and take up those valuable assets as home. So that's my little diatribe on the issue, having just run for something.
Aileen,
Could you please, Cynthia, let Lucia in? It seems like she's out.
right. Yeah,
She's in. I just noticed she was waiting.
Aileen,
Go ahead.
Can you enable chat, Cynthia?
she's muted on my side.
I think chat is enabled. You don't
Oh,
see
there
it?
she is.
I'm trying to use it. It says it's disabled.
Okay, I'll see if I can do that.
And I don't see hand raising option either. Oh, I see it now.
It's under participants.
Yeah, sorry, I see it now that I went over there.
Go ahead, Mary.
Aileen, oh, I didn't know if you could see me or not.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying to put this as delicately as possible because, I have to search for filters in me. And what I see these policies as is they're institutionally racist, because and I know that makes people uncomfortable, right? And I'm not trying to make people uncomfortable. Okay, it's just that the white people live on the beach and the working class poor live in town. Okay, and so there's no policies put in place to ensure a quality of life for the working class in Oceano. Oceano is extremely segregated, you know, and I can honestly say that living here for the length of time that I've lived here, right? You know, I picked Oceano because it was the most diverse community I could find in this county. You know, and so when I see policies where, you know, wealthier communities have these restrictions and that apply to quality of life, right? And then, you know, there's no restrictions or, you know, density or any of that on this side of town. And so that's kind of how I see it. And this is an area where, you know, if the county firmly wants to be inclusive, right, this is an area they can start by changing the policies, you know, and that they're consistent across town. You know, one side of town doesn't get, you know, policies where the other side of town does get policies, you know. So that's just my point on how I see the how it's broke up. Cayucas, Cambria, you know, yeah, those people, you know, they can afford it. Back to the rental on McCarthy. They've eliminated the garage, so I can only assume there are bunk beds in there. Okay, and there's only 2 parking spots in the driveway. So where are all, and that's an 1,800 square foot house, you know, so, and in his, you know, directive to us, because I wasn't taken by the letter of, you know, hurry up because I need to make money, you know, and oh, by the way, it's my second home too, you know, that I'm not moved by stuff like that. So obviously it's a monetary gain for the owner. I can't tell if they're a new owner, an old owner, or what, but I'd like to know which tier they're on for their municipal services. You know, are they getting the same rate as us on this side of the tracks, or are they on the second tier? And that would be a question for OCSD. You know, also too is that, you know, because you get charged different amounts for different activities. Okay, so, you know, that's one thing I would do is, you know, I think that if it's a new purchase, the least he could have done is take a snapshot of the floor plan in his appraisal, because I have no idea what the size of those rooms in that drawing. You know, how many bunks are in those bedrooms? How big are those bedrooms? You know, we know the garage is gone in the drawing. There's only parking for 2. He admits that right there. You know, so, and it goes back to the curfew. Who's going to enforce a curfew here? We're under a mandate for a curfew, you know, so, and then also too is that it just came down as a mask mandate. A lot of people come into the area, and as they're driving down Highway 46, they throw the mask out the window. You know, I mean, come on. You know, so I'm gonna be a virus, enforcer, damn it, because I don't want to live this way all my life.
Mhm.
So my question to you, Young, is who's going to enforce the mandates? Who's going to enforce the curfew? And where the heck is the garage? And 2 parking spots ain't cutting it for me.
Wait, I thought he said there's 2 in the garage and 2.
No, the garage is gone in that drawing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I couldn't, and I'll pull it back up, but I read that app very, very closely, even that last insulting paragraph.
No, is this the vacation rental?
Yeah, hurry up and do this application because I need to make some money.
That's
Right. Well, yeah, that's clear. That's what.
Yeah,
this
he was very clear and honest about it,
Mhm.
I mean, he didn't have, it's not his second dwelling. I don't care about that. I don't care how you funded the damn project. But those are the things that matter to Oceano. The mask, the curfew, and of course, COVID certification. But I'm way ahead of the county on that. The rest of the country is.
So,
So
Mary-
Mary Lucy, if so I can't answer for the first 2, as I mentioned. I'll get the public health and sheriff's answer for those. However, I can answer for, I think what you're kind of alluding is a parking issue. And then one of our requirements for that is that no on-site parking is allowed for vacation rental. Meaning if they only have 2 parking spots on their driveway, this project would be conditioned to only have 2 cars, and no more than that. Unfortunately, the way to enforce that is through our code enforcement. Well, first we like to utilize their contact person on there, and then second will be on code enforcement. Unfortunately, with the recent budget cut, we actually had a service called Host Compliance that helped with the county with the enforcement of the vacation rental. However, with the budget cut, we had to let go of that service. So it's really up to the code enforcement officer for the parking enforcement for the property. If this project is approved, then it will be conditioned as such. So
Okay, so that was Art, who was code enforcement. He retired because he was 87. So they just didn't fill the position, is what you're saying.
We have Jill Coomer. She is now the supervising code enforcement officer for our county. She's been with our county for a long time. And I believe Cynthia is probably doing the South County coastal region for those enforcement. However, we are spread out pretty thin.
Right. This is, there are a lot of regulations that apply to the vacation rentals in terms of they cannot have any more people there than they can provide parking for. So that, again, it has to be enforced. But they also have to hire a service where, and it needs to be posted, that you can call with complaints about too many people, too noisy, too much garbage. And then those people, that private service comes out and enforces the regulations. That's a requirement of having the permit. Correct, Mr. Choi?
That is correct. And also, in addition to that, once they are approved, it is up to the property owner to notify their neighbors with that information, with the contact phone number for
Right.
their services.
And sheriff and the fire department and all
yes.
of that. Right, right. But this is a great discussion. I'm so glad we're having it, and it's something we really need to, a couple of us or 3 of us get together and really try and get something, pulled together more solid for the whole group. That it is, as April put it so well, and others said that too, that, you know, having mobile homes convert to Airbnbs takes away the lower rent housing stock for people. And it really does change the character of the community. And that is something our community is going to change, but protecting our housing stock and our rental housing stock for people that live here is really critical. And I also understand that people want to make money, and people are making money off of Oceano by buying up these places and renting them out. And, you know, there's some balance there. And I think at this point, we're probably way overbalanced on the vacay side, and we're going to have a difficult time catching up.
Well,
Any more comments? Go ahead, Lucia.
well, I was saying that, you know, when I was cut off, well, the very first simple thing that it's in our power is to deny recommendation for the vacation rental. I think that's a tremendous amount of power to begin with. So let's be positive. And I totally agree with Charles. And just like we did with the parking on Pier Avenue, we came together and we are on a course. So we are on a dialogue now with the county about that issue. We need to start something like that on this. Absolutely. So I'm also not very pleased with this vacation rental either. I mean, the person lives in Sacramento, very far away, probably, and wants to make money. And I do not recommend. Will not give my recommendation.
Any more comments?
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Does the OAC have any guideline about why we would decide something is approved and not approved? I'm thinking back to Larry Bross's family's request, and because people knew them personally, although we weren't happy to put through a vacation rental, the mindset was, well, they're good people, we want to help them, let's do the right thing. If I was this current applicant, I would be very disappointed that it feels like favoritism. And I'm all for stopping the vacation rentals, don't get me wrong. But just like when Mary Lucy was on the agenda last meeting, how are we having rules that seem to be so capricious? We need something tangible that what we can hang our hat on, because if I was this current applicant, I'd go straight to the BOS and go, their history has been to approve these, and then arbitrarily this time they decided to not approve it. We have nothing in place that we can follow our own guidelines. So I would request that we had guidelines, because I'm telling you, if I was this applicant, I'd go straight to the BOS and point this out.
Okay. Well, just one, I hear that, April. And one difference was that this was the Broussard family, and this was a way that they were going to be able to maintain their ownership of the property and continue to be able to use it for their family as well. And I know that that was an important consideration for me.
So if he had the same story, then we would approve, that we would have less issue with this?
No, I get your point.
That's
I get your point.
Sorry.
I get your point. I
Okay,
get your point.
you. That's all.
So, and this isn't, it isn't on the agenda really as an action item tonight because it came in so late. So, you know, this is, I mean, I think our discussion is very relevant, but I don't think, Mr. Choi, that we could really, without it being agendized, you know, make a decision about it tonight, which may be a good thing. I mean, I think that there's some questions for the applicant in terms of really what is the parking, kind of what's the bigger plan, and he hasn't gotten his stuff together yet for the county at the level that they wanted, I don't think, to start even permitting process from appearances.
You're right, Charles. We're still going through our due diligence. We're currently working with our building department to make sure that the property is up to date and all the permits are there in place. I don't have the information yet, and you are correct. This item was not agendized, and I don't think it would be fair to take an action on an item that was not agendized. I just found out of something. I don't know if this is a good time to talk to you or not. There is another vacation rental that was, for some reason, was not referred to you, and it has been already scheduled for a hearing for December 18th. And this is on the Strandway for a vacation rental. And this is something that I would just really honestly check with our management and see how we are going to do this. But I thought it'd be important to bring this up as we're discussing the vacation rental. And this is a vacation rental that your council did not get a chance to weigh in on it, and it's already been scheduled. So if I could bring this up, that obviously this is something I don't know what happened. It's something that we don't like to do this, but I do definitely want to I definitely want to get this to your attention, that there is one vacation rental item that is scheduled for hearing. I'm going to definitely check in with my management tomorrow first thing and get back to you what action we could take. However, worst case scenario, we will take comments to this project up until the hearing date. And I will follow up with you right now with their application process for you. It's actually, if anything, very embarrassing right now. So I'm so sorry about that. But there is a vacation rental.
It's farther up the food chain than you, hon. You don't take it first.
I know, but no, I mean, I think it's important that your council weighs on this issue, especially an issue that was not brought up to you. This property is on Strandway, right on the beach, 1362, and it's another vacation rental house looking to become a vacation rental.
Yeah.
Has it recently sold? Do you know?
You know, I don't have information on it, but I think it did,
Charles.
it has an agent on it. I'm looking at the applicant's name on it.
And there's 2 kitchens in it.
We can, if you send us the material, then maybe as a council, we can still prepare a letter or a comment, and we can bring it in as a council to the hearing, and actually have the opportunity and a chance to say this is wrong and this shouldn't happen. So I'm glad it happened. So we take an opportunity to tell you that this is an unfair way of doing things. So actually, I think this is what we need to do. So forward us the paper as soon as you can. And
I will do that like right now. And again, Lucy, you're right. This is not a fair process. And on behalf of the department, I really apologize for this mistake that we've made. And I'm very embarrassed about this.
Well, you're a gracious man. We're not holding you responsible for this.
No.
But thank you.
Thank you for bringing it to us, our attention. I really appreciate it.
Yes, most definitely.
It's the least I could do.
Yeah.
Okay.
That happens in my own damn town.
So we'll kick this can down the road.
Yeah.
Any more comments for him? Any more comments for Mr. Choi?
So with that being said, on the vacation rental that was going for the hearing, I will forward this application to your Oceano Advice Council email, and I will take any comments as an advisory or any private comments, and I will 1000% forward that to our hearing officer and our project manager on this.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Young. And maybe if you could possibly advocate from within for a compliance officer for the area, you know, because as you well know, parking, and I could go down the long exhaustive list.
I've seen the parking on the weekends.
We really haven't had an active compliance officer in the area in ever.
Call and they don't show up.
Okay.
You know, so, but thanks. You're a brave
Yeah.
man taking the job.
I'll definitely forward that an enforcement issue as well. I've been also getting some emails of vacation rentals being out of compliance in this area as well. So
Oh, there's a lot of them.
yeah, yes, there are.
Thank you, and you're welcome to stay for the rest of our meeting or not.
Do it.
Go back to the
I'm
beach.
going to forward this application right now, and I will still stay on until I do that. But if you have any other questions for me, either on vacation rental or planning. Anyone?
Well, why don't you, well, I was going to write to you, but on my own, but you can do it. I would like to see all of those regulations about, and why don't you mail the whole package to the council?
Will do. And
Yes.
on the chat, I am giving you my email address.
Great.
So that you could always contact me at any time.
Yes.
And in the email, I'll send the 2 emails to the Oceano Advisory Council. One is the referral packet that you have not received. 2 is regards to our current ordinance to the vacation rental in coastal zone, because we don't necessarily have an ordinance for the inland area. So I will send that off right now, and I will also attach the document that Charles had, the PLN 2030, which is a guide to get the coastal zone vacation rental there. So I will do that right now, and I'll just mute myself and turn the video off, but I will just listen to the meeting for that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It's great to have you working with us, Mr. Choi.
Wonderful.
Oh, it's a pleasure working with you as well.
I'd just like to say that I think, I'm in total agreement with the comments everyone has said. We need to protect the character of Oceano. Completely agree with that. And the segregation part that I think Mayor Lucy mentioned is so real. I mean, I didn't even know, I've been here my whole life, and I didn't know the amount of housing that was on Strand. It was unbelievable when I started, walking around there, handing out flyers for Larry Bross's vigil. I was like, this is a whole different Oceano. This is a whole different world, a whole different universe. And we don't want, more segregation and loss of character. So Charles, this is a great project for you to take on and form a committee, and I'll be on it. I'll help you.
Yeah.
I did have a quick question, just me being curious about the one in mobile home park. Does a mobile home park not have an owner occupancy requirement?
2 of them do, and 1 of them doesn't.
Okay.
The one that's privately owned, where you privately own the property, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to be owner occupied. And the other 2, I know 1 of them you don't have to. You can rent, whatever in there. And then the other one, I think, is the same way.
I was just curious, since I know a little bit of mobile home parks.
Either do I. I'm learning.
So are we done with this topic now?
Mm-hmm.
I think we've exhausted. It was very informative and very educational. And thanks for everyone's comments. Next on, we have the Pier Avenue parking letter. And thank you, Lucia, for incorporating everyone's comments and putting it all together for us.
Yes, it was a lot of work.
I know it was a lot of
Thank you
work,
so much,
and you
Lucia.
did a good job of incorporating everyone's comments.
But it looks great. I only have one last comment. Cynthia made a very good moment, and I didn't incorporate it because she made a very good comment on the Pier Avenue when we say down the line we would like Pier Avenue to be a complete street. By the way, why do we need the 2 lanes? And she made a good comment. We do need the 2 lanes because the pier gets jammed, and the highway, and all the way to the highway, and people who live on the Strand or who live on the other side of Pier Avenue, they need to drive so they can get home. Well, of course, I had in mind a scenario of no beach traffic. So, of course, with beach traffic, we need the 2 lanes.
Yes.
However, I was thinking, what about just suggesting 2 lane going west and 1 lane coming off the beach, and diagonal parking in the very middle, like Pismo has on their business route. That will give us incredible more parking. So we needed the 2 lanes for the beach traffic, as long as we have it. We hope it's not very long. And then we have just 1 lane going east.
My response to that, Lucia, is like as I understand it, the goal is to have more parking, right?
Right.
And that, and you have, and you've presented some ideas about how to maybe increase that parking. If we got them to buy off and great, like opening up some of the parking lot that they have there and that kind of stuff. Maybe there's, you know, at some point we don't need to be getting kind of out in the weeds with details about how exactly they should do this parallel or this or that, but it's like in the spirit of it, increase the parking for local people on the street, and then kind of let them kind of get the ball back across the net to us, like either like, us, screw you, we don't care about that, or yeah, good idea, and here's what we're proposing. What do you think of that?
Yeah, well, no, I'm open to everything. That's the last issue we need to decide before. Otherwise, the letter is totally in agreement with everybody. I see your point. You're saying we might not need to say that. We might not need to tackle the 2 lanes issue. Let's hear what everyone else thinks.
Yeah, at this point, it may be kind of premature, but definitely that the idea is to, well, all the stuff we have in there, you know, the red zones, the parking limitation times, all that stuff. Yeah, no, it's a great, I mean, it's a very good response back.
So should we take, want to say something, Mary Lucy?
Yeah, I also, it was a great letter, and I think I really like the part on the corridor. The one thing that I really enforce is that under the ADA, the parking for disabled over off of is it North Swing or not North Swing? Air Park is legally too far.
Right.
Okay, so that's a violation right there of the Americans with Disability Act.
Okay, so you suggested that we add the word "it's legally too far."
It is illegally too far.
Okay.
And it particularly since there's parking available.
Okay.
Disability parking should be the closest to the entrance. It takes a priority.
Yes.
So there's a parking lot right there. Those ADA spots legally are to be in that parking lot.
Okay, I will add that. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
We did believe that was too far, but we didn't know that was illegal. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. ADA parking must be closest to the entrance of the destination.
Oh, it must be the closest spot to the destination, to
That's
the final.
right. That's right.
Makes complete sense.
Why didn't you put it in the comments, Mary Lucy?
Well, you know, now, okay, well, you know, I'm not perfect. So I have had a slight challenge with the Google.
Okay.
So actually, you should see my notes in my phone. It's bizarre, but all my comments are in my notes section of my phone because I can't figure out how to print changes or additions into a Google Doc.
Okay.
So I apologize.
I can help you. Go ahead, April.
Great.
Real quick, in talking with the county when I did a walkabout of the signs and issues, I was told at that point that if they don't designate parking spots, in like downtown Slow where they're marked out, or the Village in AG, that they don't have to put any ADAs. So I would just ask that we really confirm the designated ADA parking distance issue before we put it in a letter, so that they don't, that's not one more thing that they go, oh, they don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
Not to
Yeah.
dispute Mary, but just to
Yeah.
maybe quote.
I can pull those up.
That's all I'm saying. And then
Yes,
the other thing
I
we're
agree.
working-
I agree, you know,
Okay.
because you have to prove everything, you know, so,
Yeah, because they'll just go, nope, we're doing the minimum.
right.
And
So,
then- go ahead.
yeah, I'll pull them up and I'll send them to the committee. I'll send them to Aileen and everybody else.
Okay. And then the only other thing was, since we originally started this letter, we're now back to purple tier and lockdown. Did we want to address that?
And mandatory masks, and mandatory masks.
Mandatory masks. Do we want to address that? Because the state parks shut the beach down before, and then they opened and everything's changed. So to me, they should shut it down again. I don't know. That's up to you guys to decide, but that's something I thought we should at least entertain to add to the letter, because we're now again in the purple tier and we're having a mandate of curfews and masks and everything else again.
And it's contradictory, you know, it's like, you know, like, well, we want to control COVIDs, but come over here and party.
Exactly.
You know, it's like, no. So,
Okay, so I hear that we're gonna wait on the ADA until we get these info.
I'll get that to you. I'll get that. I'll probably get that to you by tomorrow at the latest.
Yes. And then we are gonna forget about the 2 lanes and the 1 lane. We're just gonna say that we're just gonna forget about it for right now. Okay.
Yes.
Let's get this done in the next few days, or so that we.
And so, do we want to add something about we believe the SVRA should close because we're now back on the purple? Is everyone on that same page? Do we want a couple of sentences?
That's a precedent that they closed before.
Yes.
And we're back there. So we're only saying, you already did this once. We're in the same circumstance again. Do it again.
Like the last paragraph be that, correct? Is that what everyone's in agreement with?
I didn't hear. You want to add a couple of lines about closing the traffic on the beach?
Well,
I think it's appropriate. We're now back, you know, we're now back in the purple where it was closed before. There's a precedent. Is this going to be closed? The community of Oceano has, you know, the safety of its residents first. We would like it to be closed.
Wouldn't I think that is an important enough topic to stand alone in its own letter to Dr. Bornstein. I mean, let's just send that one. If somebody who would volunteer to draft that up. I mean, is it a matter of just, we already sent one, didn't we? I mean,
yes.
a couple months ago.
Yes.
We're in purple then, and I'm willing to like work.
You draft that up, AJ?
Yeah, I'll totally do it. The thing that Mary and I worked on before the original letter,
right?
We'll redo that and say, now that we are officially back in purple, please, for safety of Oceano residents, I'll do that, no problem.
And I would really go for the governor. I would go for the governor and point out the contradictions.
Do I send it to the French Laundry or do I send it to his office?
I actually, you know what? I just call his office and they answer for some reason.
Wow.
I know, I'm stunned.
Send it to Borenstein and CC Newsom.
Well, I'll make sure you all agree to it, but that will be the ultimate recipients. I will do that for sure.
Okay.
You need, okay, wait a minute now. Needed to Bornstein and CC to Compton and the governor.
Well, I'm going to write it. We'll agree to it, and then we'll CC everybody.
And we got to do it quickly because, I mean, you know, yeah, okay. So, okay, so no action is going to be taken on the parking letter. We're just going to have to wait a few days, okay?
I thought you were just had a little bit, just a little modification, and then you're going to send it.
Mary.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it should be sent out by Monday. It just,
Yes.
it won't take you long, right, Mary Lucy?
No, I'll be online when we hang up.
Okay.
Good.
So
Okay.
we'll
Okay.
keep the letter as is, and all those, should we put this to a vote formally? I don't know. All those in favor of sending out this letter the way it is with adding the ADA illegality or not?
And taking the 2 lanes off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Yes.
I
Aye.
second.
Yes.
Okay.
Aye.
Yeah.
First
Aye.
and second. Aye.
Good.
Okay. This letter will go out hopefully on Monday. It'll go out. It's been approved. This is the way it is, except for adding.
Yeah, and then what? I motion that April and Mary Lucy put together this new version of the old letter and present it to us as up for to send out.
For
I
closing.
second.
In April, what I would do is I would take hard off and put.
I second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Can we move on? We got
Okay.
9 minutes till 7. Can we move on?
Yeah.
Okay. So next on the agenda, we got website management.
Yeah. I think that's my topic, and anybody else that wants to weigh in on it. But I contacted Melanie McDowell, who was recommended, and I sent that information around to you all, and with a request for, because she's asking for like, well, so what work do you need done? And I know, I mean, some basics. I mean, and now that we've lost our secretary, like.
No one told Rio he's got the job?
Yeah, well, so just like kind of like basic things like posting minutes, updating. And so if we don't have anybody in-house that can do that, then we're looking at basically hiring somebody to do that for us. Melanie could possibly be that person, but I need to give her some sort of scope of work to, get a price from her. And I don't recall that I got any responses from anybody about ideas you had about what needed to be done on the website. But if you do have some, this would be the time to put them out on the table or email me. I mean, like, we changed our post office box, so that needs to be changed on the website. Nitty gritty stuff like that. Mm-hmm.
If I could just interject on posting the agendas and minutes, that is all set up to be done through Google Drive without any need to make changes to the website. So
okay.
I've sent Aline information on how to get into the Oceano Advisory Council Gmail Google account. So once a secretary steps up or whoever takes over doing the agendas and minutes, we'll be able to access that in the Google Drive and be able to put those in the right folders so that they show up linkable from the website.
Okay, well, that's okay. Thank you for that. Well, and since Mary Lucy's like so down with Google now, I'm sure she's chomping at the bit to take on all that stuff. There she goes, see? So, so I don't know what the hell to do. I mean, we're gonna need some, put our heads together and see. I'm not sure exactly what skills we can throw in to kind of like limp along, or how much do we need a professional to help us out? And how the hell do we've got $700 in our bank account, which, I don't know how long that would last. So okay, here's the deal. If you've got any specific ideas about website, what like, it'd be great to have some of these kind of classic documents that are so core to, like, Oceano. I mean, it'd be great to maybe have a vacation rental tag with some of the county ordinances, or just those resources for people. Those are things I'd like to see up on the website, and I think there's a good start of it. So those kinds of things. Send me the info by early next week. Then I will contact Melanie and talk with her more about it.
I mean, Cynthia, do you know what most councils or what they use? Something to make it user friendly, kind of like what you did for your campaign. I really like that. It was just.
Well, I was using Wix, and I think the advisory council website is also on Wix. It's just using some really old template. So
how to make it modern?
Ideally, somebody would just get a more modern template and then, put up the information that the advisory council wants to have and just make it look
well, that's
pretty.
something specifically I can go to her with.
And Wix is pretty user friendly. I did my campaign website pretty much by myself. I mean, Melanie clued me into using Wix. It's just, I think the OAC website was designed a long time ago, and it just looks old and kludgy. So.
Yeah, because I think a lot of places are going Wix, because I see that same type of format, and it's very user friendly. Probably not too expensive for us, Cynthia, to just have a modern template installed, or.
Well, I'll get an estimate from her.
Charles, aren't we already paying a lot for Wix hosting? Isn't that something that Becca paid for just before she left, and you reimbursed her? It was like a substantial charge. I think that was Wix.
What does hosting mean?
Hosting is providing the platform to display your web pages.
Yeah, so how does that help us?
Well, I thought we're already paying for Wix hosting. We just need to switch to a more modern template and recreate all the information. Yeah, I think it's already on Wix hosting.
Right, it is. No, it is. Wix is our platform.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, that costs us around, with that and our server, it's about $200 a year.
Okay. So hosting is Wix.
Yes.
Right. So
April's either raising her hand or making hand shadow puppets.
She is. No, it's sign language. Go ahead.
Real quick, there are several CSDs that I watch and pay attention to, and I've been listening or looking at their warrants on what they pay for websites and etc. So I can provide that information to you, Charles. Companies that are providing websites or updating websites for, like, San Simeon CSD or Los Osos CSD, etc.
I'd love that.
You can help us narrow who can give us the best for the price.
Great, thank you, April.
I will get a hold of you.
Okay. I think the next topic is, well, Aline and I did this massive job together and then celebrated by having lunch together when we went and switched out the POB from whatever it was to the smaller, more inexpensive size, and we now are number 42.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, my age.
So that's been done.
Yep, so done, check that off. Cannabis tax income in Oceano. I got $1,200 last month from my sales.
I was gonna say, I did my part.
Wait, this is being recorded. That was a joke.
It's
It was
legal.
a joke.
I
Okay,
do not want to see this in video
For
anywhere.
legal purposes
we had
only.
decided that that's something that's just not,
Right. That's,
we take it off from future agendas because it's not going to happen.
I would concur with that until we have something really to get our teeth into.
And now after that, we got the ODSVRA Coastal Commission updates and action items.
Yes, at the last meeting, at the last hearing, we were promised the state parks, actually Mark Gold, who is a big shot from natural resources, promised that state parks would present a final draft of the public work plan by mid-December. So it will be released. What we're hoping is that the Coastal Commission will vote on it in its February hearing. That's when the issue of the Central Coast is coming up in February. So I think that's the latest thing. We are waiting for the final plan, and hopefully, and we need to push, we need to read it, comment on it, and push the Coastal Commission to vote on it. That's all there is to say. I don't think that the opening of the campground for Thanksgiving is going to happen with the COVID situation. That was what they said. They said that they would look at the situation and then decide on opening the campground for Thanksgiving. I don't think it's going to happen, or at least we need to get that letter out before Thanksgiving. Yes, Mary, I'm done.
Do you know if there's been any changes in the commissioners themselves? Is Eric House still on the commission?
Eric will be until February. So that's why we want to make sure that the commission, because Eric actually did state that he is willing to vote for that transition program away from traffic on our beach. So we needed to push the commission to vote on that plan on February. He will stay until February.
Great.
That's all. So that letter needs to go up before Thanksgiving vacation. And I would actually forward it even to Quintero State Parks. Yes. Go ahead.
Any more comments on the ODSVRA?
I don't know if it's this or if you want it under number 8, but I received from State Parks just today the contract they have with the street sweeper for the area for the 700 feet that we pay $117,000 for 2 years to sweep. I just got that contract. So if Charles or Lucia or somebody wants to work with me to pick that apart and get to the bottom of that, there's a lot of discrepancies and holes in it and things we could follow up on that I think would be pertinent, whether we're doing it on the ODSVRA side or we're doing it on the, whatever you want to call it, the OBCA side, however you guys want to address it. I got this info and I think it's important that we parse it and pick it apart and see what's really going on with our $117,000 to take beach from the beach to frickin' some trash heap in Santa Maria.
I would appreciate you sending it out just to everybody, April, so that everybody has the information, and then and oftentimes that'll pique somebody's passion around it. But yeah, I definitely would like to see it.
I'll forward it to everybody.
Thank you.
Of course.
Any more comments on the ODSVRA?
Quickly, and this is I just want to say this, there is, and all of you know this, so I'm kind of preaching to the choir, but just the enforcement of existing rules in the ODSVRA is a joke. 15-mile-an-hour speed limits, BS. Pick up your litter, BS.
Give way to the
Yo
walkers.
Banana Boy selling Trump 2020 flags, BS. And so that's what I'm looking at, and ways to bring pressure on state parks and Pierce to get serious about enforcement. So I just want to put that out there, and we can move on to curb, gutter, and sidewalks.
And Aileen, at the end of the meeting, I have some information that I think I should probably share with people at the end.
Okay, looks like Lucia maybe is having trouble getting in. Is she in now?
She's not.
Yeah, she's trying to call me, but every time I try to answer my phone, I lose the meeting. So I'm not gonna. So if you see her trying to get in, can you let her in, Cynthia?
I just have an icon here that says text me when the meeting is over. Does anybody else see that?
Yeah,
I see it.
You do?
Yeah,
I think that's Cynthia, right? She's gone?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, because she said that she strictly wants to keep meeting at 7 and okay.
Lucia?
Let me know when it's all over with.
Mhm.
I'm not running the meeting. Lucia needs to be let in the meeting. She thinks I can do it.
Okay, can you tell her that looks like Cynthia maybe left and she was hosting it?
Yeah, so Cynthia stepped away from the meeting, Lucia, and she's not able to get, so I don't think anybody can let you in.
She needs to be
That-
texted.
We're gonna have to get another Zoom account, Aileen.
Yeah. So can we just
Okay, wait, did Cynthia make you the host, Aline?
not that I know of, no.
No, okay. Okay, already, okay.
We
Okay.
can hear her.
Bye-bye from her.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. So we got the next thing on our agenda here, the curb gutter sidewalk committee. Do we have anything on that? I don't think we do.
No, there's nothing on that.
So we talked about vacation rentals already. So we're down to the treasury report, Charles.
Yeah, so the treasurer's report, and thank you so much, Aline, for dropping it by the house today. Yeah, we're right at $700.06. We didn't really have any action going on. And I need to get with them and change our post office box so it comes to the correct one. And then also Jennifer Blackburn, who was the secretary, treasurer, and chair of OAC and over a period of years, served in all those. She would submit a request for funding for the advisory council, and I have copies of those applications. And so when I have some spare time, or if anybody would like to check into this, we can make application to get additional monies to help finance us.
That's cool.
Because it
Awesome.
is more expensive. I mean, the Zoom accounts and websites, you know, those are things that the old OAC didn't do really much.
They have a discretionary fund, all of them. We don't have to only get it from our direct supervisor either. I know
Right,
Adam
yeah,
Hill
that's true.
had given money in the past to District 4, being a District 3 supervisor.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
And I don't know that we would get money from our District 4.
This is just, I have a family thing. My son's mother just had some really challenging surgery today, and he's been calling me. So I'm gonna excuse myself and check in with him because I haven't heard anything about it, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you, Charles.
Okay.
Okay, next on our agenda, we got the Oceano Beach Community Association, Lucia. She's gone for right now, but I'm part of the OBCA, and I more or less know what she was going to say. What we have going on the OBCA right now, besides being involved tremendously with the California Coastal Commission, with OGCRA and all that, we have a community cleanup coming up this Saturday, and we have been tackling alleys every couple of months. So that we're going to do the alley that's in between 15th and 17th, and we're going to have a bin there that's being provided by the OCSD. We'll be starting from 10 to 12. It's on our website. It's also on Nextdoor. It's also, I believe, was placed on Instagram. So it's been, I've walked the neighborhood in front of the Melodrama there with flyers, trying to see if we can get community and out to help us. Would greatly appreciate that you help us get the word out and participate. We need to beautify Oceano.
I'll be there. I'll bring my weed whacker on my birthday.
Oh, on your birthday.
Yeah, it's my birthday that day.
Happy birthday to me.
Thank you.
So after that, we got my report from the OCSD, and we met, of course, this last Wednesday, and let me get my notes out here. What we did there at the meeting, we approved a resolution naming our district manager as a representative to the Cal OES grant, which is a grant for $300,000, which hopefully we'll get that grant, and it'll pay for 3 portable emergency generators to service well A, the booster station, and the lift station. So we're excited. Hopefully we'll get it. The manager seems pretty confident that we should get it because they budgeted for it, and we're a disadvantaged community. We also adopted a resolution accepting an offer and dedication by Cienega Sea Breeze. And what that's going to do is formalize the district practices of service and maintenance of easement to get in there and basically go trailer to trailer. And for the water rates, they will be charged as a single family water rate instead of multiple, or how we had said when we did the changes for the water rates that people that lived in trailer parks would get charged 15% less. Well, they're going to be charged as if they were single family residents, because they have a meter at their trailer, every single trailer. So it's basically just they said he called it a housekeeping, something that should have been done a long time ago for us to formalize the easement there. And we also had the budget review, the first quarter budget review, and basically we're on budget, mostly everything. There was only one area where we had an adjustment, and that was for the facilities fund, and it was an adjustment of $10,900, and it was due to the emergency generator project and the fumigation of the fire station there. So that was something that wasn't seen. The water fund also is coming in as low on the income, on the revenues, 21,073, and that's due to the fact that we have OCSD has been since COVID started waiving late fees, so it adds up. It's adding up. So they're projecting it to be at the end of the year maybe like 26,000 less in revenues when it comes to the water. And then they mentioned that the meter budget was coming in a lot higher than they thought, but it's going to even out, and it's because we're replacing a lot of old meters here in Oceano. So that's the gist of it. And I think it's 7:16, so I think we need to motion if we wanted to go on for another 5 minutes or so, which I think we do need. Can I have a motion?
I move that we go on for another 5 to 10 minutes.
I second.
I'll say, yeah.
Third, fourth,
All those in agreement? Aye.
aye.
I
Okay. So I think we really need to discuss the who's going to fill in the vice. If there's anyone that wants to be or wants to nominate someone to be the vice chair, Cynthia. It was the vice chair and the secretary, so we're left with no vice chair and no secretary. Is there
would you be interested, April?
I am about to start tax season. I just,
Oh,
no way
right.
can I commit to that. If this was May, I'd have nothing but time. But between now and tax season, there's no way.
Okay, so anybody else want to be nominated or?
Voluntold.
I mean, I would be interested, but one thing is like I don't have like a full office set up at this moment, but it's something that I could work on, and I need probably a little bit of training or somebody. Maybe Cynthia can kind of fill me in on the duties and how she does it, you know. So if I was to take over that role. And I don't know, like, if the vice president, like, what their role is, what they do, and you know, those sorts of things. I understand she was like the Zoom host, which we definitely need to fill that position like straight away, you know. So that's something that I don't know if that's the secretary or if that's the vice president.
I would be happy to set up a Zoom account for the OAC.
Yeah, I think that's easy enough to do.
Yeah, that's easy enough. I can do that. I would offer, but you know, I really take bad minutes.
So you're offering to be the Zoom host? Is that what you're saying, Mary Lucy?
I'm offering to set it up. I mean, I'll certainly attempt to host, but I'll set the account up and make sure that, you know, everybody has access to the account.
Can't take minutes.
But I just suck on minutes, so, you know.
Okay.
I mean, you'll get them like 4 or 5 months later, to be honest.
Well, okay.
But I'll do the Zoom.
You'll do the Zoom. So, Real, do you want to be nominated just as vice chair, not secretary, or vice chair and secretary? I didn't understand you.
Well, I mean, not ideally at this point, but like as far as the secretary, like I don't know how well I would take the minutes, but I'm open to it. You know, I just need like some coaching from Cynthia to get me up to speed on that, and I could probably make it happen, you know. So
You're pretty good at that stuff, bud.
I can figure it out.
You're being modest. I know.
So do you mind if we nominate you?
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you could get together, send an email and CCS with Cynthia about getting some training to see, the minutes. On the minute part, the host will set up a recording. This is recorded and posted on YouTube. So it'll be recorded. So the minutes that aren't very detailed, you can take a look at the minutes that we do have. So you can see that it's like, because it is taped, recorded,
Yeah.
it's the minutes aren't like gonna have to sit there and write like 100 words per minute.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was concerned about, and I kind of realized that it is being recorded. So, and you're kind of like, I've done the I've been in these meetings before where the minutes are really like an abbreviation of the main bullet points that we covered. This is what we voted on. This is who voted. You know what I mean? This is the roll call, all that stuff. So,
Especially since it's recorded, anyone can go look at the meeting.
right.
That's right.
Go back and then go like, well, this part I didn't get down, so I'm going to go back and re-listen to this section and then just type it up and post it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I motion that for Rio to be our new vice chair and secretary. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you,
Do we
Rio.
have do we have a quorum?
Right. Yeah. Do we have people to?
Four.
4 out of 7.
Oh, okay, we're good.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Discussion items. Items for next agenda, notices from correspondence.
Real quick, this actually has to go back to the OBCA and the alleyway cleaning. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, the OCSD, I got their insurance coverage policy recently. And it's not covered. There's no insurance coverage for getting hurt or in any way doing this work. So I don't know if the OBCA knows this or if they have their own insurance, or is the OCSD paying a supplemental fee? But it's clearly stated in the insurance policy that the coverage for alleyways and etc. that OBCA does is not covered by the OCSD policy, just so you have a heads up.
Yes, when we signed up for the application to get the bin out there and all that, like adopt an alley application, that was clearly stated, it's a waiver. When people go out there and clean up, it's basically, this is the first time that we're requesting LCSD to actually be formally part of it, like with the bin and all that. And we have a waiver, the OBCA has a waiver also because we have no money and no insurance. So OCSD has more money, but they still have a waiver. So we sign and there's, we tell everyone there to, wear appropriate clothing. We don't really have anyone do anything that's like dangerous. And most of us have common sense. We know, there's always accidents, but when they're, we have people sign and we tell them that it's a waiver. We're not responsible. We can't be sued. We don't have any money anyways, but this, please sign.
Okay.
So yeah, we are aware, and we are also like, we watch out that people don't go there with sandals and get into glass or dangerous things like that, and wearing gloves.
I just want to make sure we're all aware of the potential issue because we don't have insurance coverage for that endeavor. And the OCSD is, as far as I know, unless they've paid an additional $400 in premium, but I asked for insurance policies and they didn't provide one that said, they only provided one that said it is not covered. So I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. And it's a little upsetting. I think they should they should cover. It's only that much.
Because it's under the trash, the 311 thing.
Yeah. It's something I will bring up at the next meeting.
Thank you.
It should be covered. Okay, well, anything else?
You know, I actually have one thing that I want to throw out there to you. And I'm not quite sure how to do it once again, but there is a movement to eliminate this committee. And I think that it's a highly functional committee. It's establishing a good track record of getting things done, right? And because some people, you know, don't particularly like it, right, and our stance on stuff, they're going to try to make a motion at the Board of Supervisors to eliminate this committee and establish a committee of basically yes people. How was that? Was that nice?
I knew what you were saying.
So I actually think it's really, you know, I think it's counterproductive. I think it only, you know, it's selfish. It harms the community. It doesn't help the community in any way, shape, or form. But that is supposed to happen, begin happening in January. Is there'll be an attempt to sunset this committee.
Wow, well, thank you for informing us, Mary Lucy. Wow, the council, the whole council, is that what you're saying?
I think this is very valuable to this community, you know, and although we kind of deal with touchy things sometimes, you know, I think that I think you're doing a great job, you know, so I see it to be extremely counterproductive and selfish.
If I could just add one quick thing, I would say that what I see us doing is not picking sides for or against anyone. We just overall are for the benefit of overall Oceano residents. That's what we're here for. There's no other agenda. I don't have property. I don't have best friends at the department. I don't have anything. I just want what's best for Oceano residents, of which I am one, and my whole family has been one at some point or another. I could cry when I talk about this subject. So I will do whatever I can to keep this committee going without these outside influences, without these demands for yes people to only fit the criteria that makes certain people happy because it lines their own pockets or it helps people up further up the food chain that aren't us. We represent us. That's all.
Right. And that's why I think that if we can get the Board of Supervisors, not just that supervisor, right, the board to support the work of this committee. I mean, I don't know if we can get Debbie and Pre-Chong to override, you know, do nothing Compton, but I think that Gibson would do the right thing, you know, and so I just don't want people to be surprised.
Can I ask you a question, Mary Lucy? So it's just getting rid of the Oceano Advisory Committee. Is it getting rid of the NEPOMO Advisory Committee?
No, it would sunset this committee, establish a new committee.
That someone could control more.
Do you know when that County Board of Supervisors meeting is?
No, I don't. And I don't know if it's been agendized. I know it's been talked about in the background. And I know there's been a commitment from one supervisor to say, well, we'll just shut that down and start a new one.
Well, is that, are you saying, wait a sec, because that doesn't sound right. That sounds almost illegal.
Yeah, do they even have the power to do that?
We're an advisory committee.
Well, if
no power.
We look at, I've said it from the beginning, NEPOMO has veto power. Oceano's advisory committee does not have veto power. the law that every supervisor or every city council member has to have a community advisory body. And that's in the state of California, you know. We sat on them in Los Angeles. We lived in Venice. We sat on the Venice Community Advisory Body. You know, Nancy sat on the Highland Park Advisory. You know, it's law. You have to have a community advisory. So they can't legally just eliminate this one, right? They have to, at that same time, they have to put another one in play. And you know who's going to be running the other one?
Well, it doesn't seem, wow. Wow, that just doesn't seem, that doesn't go right with me.
Who owned the house that didn't come before this advisory body for a vacation rental? Come on now.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is it's just wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong. You're not going to get an argument out of me on that. And and what's the good thing though is that this committee has good accomplishments, and those accomplishments will be used to justify the existence. And I think that's the strategy that needs to be taken.
Yeah, and I think we need, if we have the information about if that is on the agenda for the Board of Supervisors, that as many people come and speak up in support of the OAC.
Yes.
Meeting. That's important.
You're absolutely right, Rio. And the more, you know, I only get tidbits, right? But any more I find out, I'll definitely send them off to somebody who can get them out to somebody.
Great, thank you.
And Mary Lucy, when were we going to be informed formally?
Oh, I don't know about that. I know that I just know that there's
going to be like
for new members, and that people have been approached to sit on the new committee. So I don't know how fast the soups are going to work, you know, take this up. I mean, they have an ignored plague on their hands, you know, so, you know, I'm just going to say it. They're all a bunch of damn Trumpsters. And, you know, and that's how people operate.
Also the institutionally privileged.
Yes. It's called
I'm not going to say
white privilege.
I'm not going to say institutionally disadvantaged or discriminated. I'm going to reverse it, and it's the institutionally privileged.
That's right.
So are they
just like those signs around town
that
I find extremely bigoted? You know, those signs are inappropriate.
Yep.
And I don't even think they're legal under the law to hang hate like that.
No.
That's hate. And there's laws against hate crimes. You know, go back where you came from.
Yeah.
What the hell's that? Hey, a damn boogaloo, bugalo, or woogaloo boys, or whatever the fuck you are. So anyway, that I don't know how far they've gotten, but I know in November October it was moving forward. So the minute I find out anything, Aileen, you will be the first to know, and then you'll distribute it. Your chair.
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah, huh?
This ended in completely different than I thought. Thank you, Mary Lucy.
Thank you.
Sure.
We will do our best to keep our committee the way it is, and let's hope. Well, I'm pretty confident that in the end we will prevail.
I believe that. You know, committee's got a good track record.
Okay, Who was going to let Cynthia know when the meeting was over? Please do so.
Yeah, I can let her know.
Okay. So I guess we'll have a motion to adjourn now.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Aye. Thumbs up.
Aye.
Thank
Aye,
you.
aye.
Okay, until we meet again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And I'll get that Zoom stuff done tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay. Ciao.
Bye.